1-2 coming. And a swing and a miss. The ball game is over. The Red Sox mustered just 2 hits, and they are shut out tonight 5-0.
Jack Flaherty had his good stuff. You got to tip your cap sometimes. He took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. I mean, just no offense at all from the Red Sox. Pivetta, it seems like it wasn't even today that we saw him strike out 8 in a row.
All right, that's how it ended on Sunday. Well, the most recent game that we've had with the Red Sox. So 617-779-0985 here on the Baseball Hour. There's a reason we play that, damn it. There's a reason we play it. Did you know? And this is my big picture question of the day. We'll take your thoughts on it right away because, again, it speaks to the Red Sox identity. Do you realize that when they lost that game on Sunday, they fell to 500 again? This is really unbelievable. It is the 13th time this year the Red Sox have been 500, exactly 500. 13 times. It's June 4th. There's a lot of baseball left. What are the odds that they're going to finish exactly 81 and 81? I say pretty high. So again, 617-779-0985, and I'm just going to give you the math. Because, again, this ties into last night's topic, and I'm going to ask it again because this is also part of the conversation today. Rafael Devers right now has the highest OPS of his career. Again, it's a third of the season, so you got a long way to go. But if he plays at this rate for the entire year, the same rate that he played for over the first 60 games of the season, he will finish with the best OPS of his career. He's in the top 10 in baseball in OPS. And in fact, I wrote about this on the website today, 985thesportshub.com, that Rafael Devers, over the last couple of years, has been really one of the 6 or 7 best hitters in baseball, if you wanted to examine it from that point. And I come back and say, what good has that done the Red Sox? What good has it done to pay Rafael Devers $30 million a year, which is what he's effectively costing them, give or take, and to go 500 every year? How does that make sense? Financially, for a team that is interested in cost per win and is interested in the analytics and the efficiency, especially as it relates to payroll, how does it make sense to pay Rafael Devers that kind of money and go 500 every year? And again, just out of curiosity, because I think it's kind of a cool stat. Devers is going to be 27 years old next month. Jimmy Stewart mentioned this yesterday. Since the start of the 2021 season, among regulars, and it's actually 2022 season, I take that back. Among regulars who have played at least 500 games, and tonight will be Devers' 500th, Devers ranks 6th in the entire major leagues in OPS. He's one of the 6 best hitters in the game. And the other 5 guys are all left-handed hitters as well, which shouldn't surprise you really. But Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Kyle Tucker. All of those guys in the top 6. And if you go over the last 2 seasons, 23 and 24, you go over those 2 years, 300 games, you can add Aaron Judge and Yordan Alvarez to the list. The short answer really is Rafael Devers has been an elite offensive player in the major leagues now for going on 4 years. He's going to turn 27 next month, which means he's smack dab in the prime of his career. And yet the Red Sox, over that same period of time, going back 6 years now, are a 500 club. Okay, 500 club. What's he doing here? Why even have a guy like that if you're just going to be a 500 team? What is the point? To drive TV ratings? Because that isn't working. Drive attendance? You don't need Devers for that. The ballpark does that because fans from out of town are going to come in and buy all the tickets anyway. Now, I want to read a comment that Alex Cora made today on this very thing, and it relates to the team being 500, not about Devers, but I think it's all sort of connected. Cora said this today on his weekly interview on our competitor, WEEI. They obviously have the rights of the Red Sox. Cora said, when you look at the lineups on Saturday and Sunday, there were 5 rookies, he said. And we're playing good baseball, right? We're not playing great baseball. But the things that we set up to do in the offseason and spring training, as far as like player development, giving these guys a chance to become big leaguers, I think we have accomplished that. Obviously, the pitching has been amazing. Some guys have been down, meaning injured, but I think the pitching has kept this thing going. We're 3.5 games back from the Twins. I think that's where we're at. But I think it's fair. Right now, it's where we are. And that comment, this is the line that bugged me more than anything else. And not because Cora said it, but because it's true. The things that we set up to do in the offseason and spring training, as far as like player development, giving these guys a chance to become big leaguers, I think we have accomplished that. If you are a fan of the Red Sox and the manager of the team is telling you that one of the objectives of the franchise was to develop the young players at the big league level, you should be insulted. That is preposterous. And again, not that Cora said it, because it's true. The fact that they are doing it is what should piss you off to no end. Since when did Boston become a AAA team? Since when was it about player development and bringing the guys along versus winning and competing, making the playoffs and taking a run at a championship? Since when did it become that? Because that's what it is. So Jimmy Stewart said to me, and this is now, Jimmy Stewart and I seem to have a discussion every day, Jimmy, our producer, about the Red Sox. Today's topic, Jimmy said to me before the show, well, the Braves are in town. Don't the Red Sox want to be the Braves? And this, again, is another part of the conversation. The Braves have built from within. Austin Riley at third base. Harris, the center fielder. You go right around and you say the Braves are built from within. They develop pitching. They developed positional prospects. Then they paid the guys before they got to free agency, for the most part. And they are on a crusade to win championships. They've already won one. Great. It's a good model. I think we would all agree it's the best model. Develop prospects, turn them into good big leaguers, pay them what they're worth, keep them because that ultimately it'll be below market value, and you can be a contending championship caliber team for a long window. Makes perfect sense. Is that what the Red Sox are doing here? Do you believe that? And if you do believe that that's what they're doing, how confident are you that they can execute it? How confident are you that they can be the next Atlanta Braves? Because I'm not. So let's go back. Chaim Bloom was brought in, and I keep using the Tampa Bay Rays as an example. Maybe it is more like the Braves. The Braves pay more in the terms of payroll to their existing roster because they have good young players, and they think that that's a good investment versus going out and signing free agents. So far, the Red Sox have spent that money on Bayo and Rafaela. That's it. Bayo, who I think has been overall average. Rafaela, who can't hit and feels like a utility guy to me as of right now. He might get better. We'll see. He should be learning how to hit in AAA and not the big leagues. Or he should be down at AA with Kyle Teal and Marcelo Meyer and who am I leaving out? Roman Anthony. He should be down there, but he's not. He's in the big leagues. Because the Red Sox need him to be because they don't have another player they can put in center field or at shortstop for that matter. Not really. So how confident are you that the Red Sox can actually execute it, become what the Braves are, and then tell me how long is it going to take? Because it's not like this has been going on for just a couple of years. Since they last won the World Series, 5+ seasons. So this is the 6th. So we can now call it 6 years. 6 years. The Red Sox are 4 games over 500. Now they just changed chief executives again. They have a new GM in Craig Breslow. And now they're basically starting all over again. Meanwhile, Rafael Devers is making $30 million a year and is in the first year of a 10-year contract. So, if the Red Sox could trade Rafael Devers right now, get back some pitching that might help their rebuild, would you do it? This is all the stuff that I want people to consider. Do you believe in their rebuild? Do you think they can become the Braves? Are they going to be able to execute that? And is Devers a part of it? To me, these are all the things that you can discuss with the Red Sox right now, because frankly, again, I keep saying this over and over, nobody's watching the games. There wasn't one to watch last night anyway, but people aren't watching the games. People they're not compelling. Nobody feels like they're close. The rebuild has started again. And if it goes bad with Breslow, guess what? In 3 years, they'll fire his ass and they'll bring in the next guy to start. And we'll see what that looks like. Meanwhile, Rafael Devers is in the peak years of his career now, or about to enter them, has already been one of the best hitters in the game, and the Red Sox are a 500 team. Tell me how all that makes sense. If this were another organization in baseball, we'd be looking at the Red Sox right now and saying, that's a clown show. Which is maybe what we're doing anyway. I know I am. That line from Cora today. The things that we set up to do in the offseason and spring training as far as like player development, giving these guys a chance to become big leaguers, I think we have accomplished that. So that's what the Red Sox are now, a four-ray outfit. I know Jared Carrabis has used that term. He believes it. Can't say he's wrong. Now the manager's basically saying that's what we set out to do. I wonder if in there, Jimmy, there's some sort of little shot at the Red Sox, the things that we set out to do as far as player development, we've accomplished that. Boy, there's something to give them a round of applause for. Well done. I'm not even sure it's true. Of the young guys, like the really young guys, who's developed? Is Tanner Houck young anymore? He's 27. Garrett Whitlock's hurt. Bayo, to me, feels the same as he did a year ago. Cutter Crawford in the last 7 starts, I think it is, or something close to it, has an ERA over 5. So what young guy has has developed?
I mean, Rafael is hitting 209.
Jarren Duran, maybe? Do you count him?
He's 27.
Okay, he's not a young guy.
Abreu's 25, and he just hit the injured list.
So again, as Jimmy just told you, Wilyer Abreu on the injured list now. Wait till I tell you who's playing right field for the Red Sox tonight, if you don't know already. Wait till I tell you that. I have a hard time believing in myself. 617.
I mean, Brendan Bernardino at 32 has developed. He's a great lefty.
Unbelievable. 617-779-0985. Your call's next on the Baseball Hour.
there were supposed to be two guys taking grounders, and he goes out there. He didn't need to do that, but he's leading by example. It was optional defense today, and he's out there with Hammy and all those guys. So he's doing an amazing job. He's doing a great job, and he'll enjoy tomorrow. He needs that one, and be ready for Tuesday.
He'll be ready to go. Braves are in town. I should also add, Chris Sale is not pitching in this series. I presume that with Sale back in the ballpark, the Red Sox will do some sort of pregame acknowledgement of Sale or for Sale. They obviously traded him at the end of last season or after last season. And there'll be some sort of celebration. If you have thoughts on Sale, I'll take them. But frankly, been there, done that. The whole video thing, look, he was a significant part of that championship in 2018, so I see giving one to a guy like Chris Sale. But when guys come back who were here for all of 10 minutes and get videos and were relative bit parts, to me it then does a disservice to when they put the ones up on the board that deserve to be up there. They're only special if only a handful of people get them. Then they're special. If everybody gets one when they come back, well, then it ceases to be special. And frankly, I don't know how many really great moments there were with Chris Sale. To me, there was really one. That was the, sorry about that, Jimmy. It was the, it was the final out of the series with the Dodgers. I had a little gurgle in my throat, Jimmy. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Anyway, 617-779-0985. I'll get to your calls in 1 second here. On Devers, and on Cora's comments on Devers. Devers is not what a lot of people want in terms of the quote-unquote face of the franchise, which I get. Do not underestimate how good an offensive player he is. And I'll admit, I do. I make this mistake. In the last 4 years, starting in 2021, and I had it right, 21, 22, 23, and now part of 24. Tonight will be Devers' 500th game over that period of time. 500th. And he has been one of the 6 best hitters in the game based on OPS. Now, I had someone today tell me that he's actually down in the low 20s as far as WAR during that period of time because WAR factors in defense and Devers is a below-average third baseman. Fine. I would tell you that at third base, even below average defense, if it's not like the kind of defense that kills you, but even below average defense is okay if the bat is as good as Devers is at that position. He just needs to play a respectable third base. Of late, he's been doing that. You have one of the best hitters in the game in the middle of your lineup, and you're a 500 team. You were a 500 team last year. Actually, you were 6 games under. The year before that, you were 6 games under. In 2020, you sucked. In 2019, you were 6 games over. So over that 6-year period, while Rafael Devers has been among the most potent hitters in baseball, you're wasting him. You're wasting him. What's the point? And I know, and again, this is sort of a manipulation of the question. Would you trade him, and do you think the Red Sox would? And I'll give you my answers to both of those questions when we, not this segment, I'll do it next segment. Tom and Natick. Tom, what do you got?
How you doing, Tony? So I think you're way too negative. You'd be trading Ted Williams right now if they had him. Okay? This team is far more entertaining. You need to get to more games. I'm a season ticket holder. Devers draws Latinos. The crowd is different than it was 30 years ago. The crowd is different than it was 5 years ago. Saturday's game, the play Rafaela made. Sunday's game, the play Devers made.
Hey, Tom.
The outfield.
Tom, before you go on and on, because I know the place you're talking about, and I'll accept your point that the team is entertaining. Are you a hardcore baseball fan?
No, I'm not.
Are you a hardcore Red Sox fan?
No, I'm not. I got back to baseball when you told me 2 years ago there were going to be more fans drawn back to the game with the clock, and I was. Okay. And so they're short enough. They're enjoyable. I bring my grandchildren. I got great seats behind home plate. In fact, I'll take you to a game sometime.
Okay, no, listen, I appreciate the offer, and thank you for that. And I'm glad that you're being able that you can spend time with your grandchildren. I'm not joking about that. You're in the minority. You are in the minority. The television ratings have plummeted. They're really low. So I understand that you say the ballpark is different. I tell you, it's a lot of out-of-towners still. Sitting in this chair, talking about the Red Sox every night, I can tell you the interest level in the team is the lowest it's been in 30 years. Easily the lowest it's been under the ownership of this team, and it goes all the way back to the Butch Hobson managerial years. I have not seen the interest level in the Red Sox be this low in 30 years. So now I'm not being a wise ass here. I'm happy to hear that you are enjoying it. Most people aren't like you. In fact, the large majority of people are not like you. Not a lot of people are watching. Not a lot of people are going to waste their time. And I understand, you have an ulterior motive. It sounds like to spend time with your grandkids, which is good. Again, I'm not begrudging you that. But in this day and age, where people can watch things in snapshots and can do a million different things all on their phone, getting people to engage with the Red Sox the last couple of years in particular has been a near impossibility. You are the exception. Martin in Texas. Martin, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. Just wanted to say that I think that, when you're comparing them to the Braves and whatnot and paying their young players, they just put too many eggs in one of the baskets instead of dividing them half and half. And they're relying too much on Meyer, Teal, and Anthony to come and be saviors instead of making acquisitions like the Braves did, like signing Matt Olson, trading for Chris Sale, and all the outside of the organization players that have paid off for them, like those two guys. They're not doing that whole aspect of building the team, and that's why they are where they are.
Okay, so Martin, what the Red Sox would tell you is that the reason they haven't done that is because those guys aren't here yet. That once those guys get here and are ready to contribute, that then there will be an effort to start building around them, improving the talent around them, and putting the Red Sox in a position to win again. So my question is, okay, that's all well and good. What do we do now? And then what if it doesn't work? What if Marcelo Meyer gets here? And he's a good one to pick at, so I'm going to start with Meyer. What if Marcelo Meyer gets here and is not as good as everyone thought he would be? And what if he's not a shortstop? Because this one went right up my ass at the time they drafted Meyer. I can't tell you how many people called me and told me, don't re-sign Bogaerts because you drafted Marcelo Meyer. Why are you going to do that? And my answer was, well, what about all the seasons you have to play between now and the time Meyer gets here? So if you sign Xander Bogaerts and then Marcelo Meyer comes up 3 years later, well, that's a good problem to have. Maybe Meyer plays another position. Maybe Bogaerts moves to third or to second, which is what has happened in San Diego. And I'm not even telling you that it's been a good investment for the Padres on that contract. I think he would have cost less for the Red Sox to keep him. But you could have done something else. You could have remained competitive while you were still waiting for your prospects to come. So now, again, why do we have to wait for them to get here before you can have a competitive team? Why does it have to be that way? Because this team is not competitive. Not enough. If it changes, I'll be wrong. And by the way, so will you, because the majority of you aren't watching the games. You feel like I do. So I'm not yelling at you, Martin. I'm yelling at the Red Sox. I don't get it. Let's put it off, plug the holes, and it was worse under Bloom than it's been under Breslow. But let's just fill the holes and make do until all these prospects hit. What if they aren't Betts, Devers, Bogaerts, Bradley, and Benintendi? What if they aren't those guys? And the free agent pitching market this offseason is going to suck. Last offseason was the offseason of signed pitching. The Red Sox didn't do it. They failed. Whether it was Imanaga, Yamamoto, whoever you want to pick. They failed. So now they got to go out and get pitching next year or this coming off season? Who? And you say, well, they can trade. Who? Have they shown any willingness to trade their prospects? Because I don't see it. This is the problem. It's the rebuild from hell. It goes on and on and on and never gets any better. Kevin Majori's Get Your Headlines. I forgot to tell you who's playing right field tonight. We'll give you a hint when we come back on the Baseball Hour.
Sports Hub Headlines.
Celtics continue to get set for their NBA Finals matchup with the Dallas Mavericks, and it looks like Kristaps Porzingis will be back, as it was reported today that he has completed multiple scrimmages in recent days. Also, the TD Garden announced today that for the first time in the history of the building, they will host watch parties for Games 3 and 4 when the Celtics are in Dallas. The Patriots were back in the practice field today for OTAs. Rookie quarterback Drake May took reps as the number 2 quarterback behind Jacoby Brissett. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers agreed to a 2-year extension averaging $19 million a year. David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period reported today that the Bruins are expected to speak with Danton Heinen's camp this week and start discussions on a potential new contract. And the Red Sox kick off a brief 2-game set with the Atlanta Braves tonight at Fenway Park. Carter Crawford gets a start for the Sox. First pitch is at 7:10. The team announced today that outfielder Wilyer Abreu was placed on the IL with an ankle injury. Catcher Tyler Heineman was called up in his place. And former Red Sox first-round pick Jay Groom was among a group of players suspended from the MLB for gambling. Groom made 32 bets from 2020 to 2021, with 24 of those being on the Red Sox. Sports Hub Headlines are brought to you by Bridgewater State University. Complete your bachelor's degree at your pace and on your schedule with Bridgewater State University's high-quality online degree programs. Learn more at bridgew.edu/CCS. I'm Kevin Majori on Boston's Home for Sports 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Stay tuned for more of the Baseball Hour coming up.
2 over the Orioles. A line shot. That's fair down into the corner. It'll keep on bouncing and rolling. Smith into third. He's going to be waved home. He's trying to score, and he will. Raffy's on his way to third. He slides in. 3-0 Boston. Good send.
Very good send. Great read by Kyle Hudson on that throw cut off. Even better swing by Rafael Devers. He fell behind. Had to throw that slider out over the plate. Raffy feasts on that. Buggy whips this thing down the line, keeps it fair, rattles around down in that corner. If you're not accustomed to Fenway Park, that's a tough place to play.
So again, Rafael Devers triple. Ball was hit to the right field corner. Not an easy place to play at Fenway Park, the right field corner. In fact, for years, the Red Sox would put guys in right field who had experience in center field. And this, by the way, goes back to 25 years ago. I mean, more, really. But the bottom line is, you know the guys who played right field. Trot Nixon played right field. There was a time years ago. Remember, Jimmy, there was one off season where the Red Sox went out and got Darren Lewis and Damon Buford at the time. They were both center fielders, and the argument was, no, we got to start treating right field at Fenway like center field because it's a big right field. So that is when this whole idea was born of going out and getting a guy who's a legit right fielder.
Darren Bragg wasn't cutting it at the time.
Then, was it last year or 2 years ago where Christian Arroyo got put in a right field? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
In fact, we have audio evidence of it.
It's a high fly ball into right field, and for a moment Arroyo couldn't find it. He still can't. He still can't. He can't find it. It's way behind him. 2 runs will score. Hicks is in. Trevino is in. Here comes Gallo pounding around. A play at the plate. Here's the tag. He is out at home. Arroyo never saw the thing.
Oh, what a time to not be able to see a fly ball. And I thought it wasn't deep enough because I was saying, why is he there? I thought that ball was hit farther than that. And it was. He's standing there with his arms up. That ball's way over his head. Nobody's there to help. He said that ball's 50 feet from him. And he goes and gets it. The only thing good that came out of it is they threw out Gallo at the plate.
Oh, look at the panic. Absolute panic on Christian's face. They're screaming, I can't see it.
Luckily, he gets it in to get it out at the plate, but my goodness.
I miss Zach, by the way.
Me too. Me too. Remember that? When Christian Arroyo was playing right field, it was embarrassing. The Red Sox had a guy who had never played the outfield in right field on opening day. Incredible. This is the era that we have now deteriorated into. And you know why I'm bringing that up today? This is one of those where, again, when I read it, I went, what? What? How the hell does that happen? Jimmy, what was the thing that we did last week when I read it and I couldn't believe it? Oh, I know. Oh, my gosh, it was the same guy. Remember when Devers had homered 5 straight games and I said the first Red Sox player to do the first Red Sox player to do it since Bobby Dahlbeck? And I immediately thought, well, what kind of record can it be if a guy like Bobby Dahlbeck holds the record? Seriously. Homered in 5 straight, tying a record set by Bobby Dahlbeck. Talk about taking the air out of the balloon. Holy crap. I can't even say that with a straight face. Breaking a record or tying a record held by Bobby Dahlbeck. I'm still laughing now. You know what the funny thing is? Tonight, because William Abreu was gone on the disabled list, the injured list, injured list, guess who's playing right field at Fenway? Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby freaking Dahlbeck in right field. Apparently he's been playing right field in Worcester. He played like 14 games this year or something like that. So again, Fenway Park. Yeah, it's a big right field at Fenway Park. You can't just put anybody out there. Apparently you can, or at least try to. Bobby Dahlbeck will be your right fielder tonight against the Atlanta Braves, who you want to be. So is Austin Riley played right field in Atlanta? Like, does that work? Holy crap. Some of the stuff that has gone on with the Red Sox over the last 5 years really makes you look at it and go, oh my God. They are hopeful that they're going to get Tyler O'Neill back as soon as tomorrow, potentially, if I read that correctly. So O'Neill would be in right field, and this is just a one-night thing. We hope. Where's Dahlbeck playing next? Center? Is he going to catch? Maybe they could use him to close. Holy crap. Unbelievable. Bobby Dahlbeck in right field, where the Red Sox have been saying for decades, you need a guy with center field caliber defense to play. Bobby Dahlbeck. My gosh. Pat in the car. Pat, what do you got?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. And answer just to your initial question, I've been here 50 years, and the best I've seen in right field certainly was Dewey Evans. But that's not the reason I'm calling. This call was 24 hours late because I wanted to make it last night and just couldn't. But in this show last night, you kept repeatedly asking, what are the Red Sox? And I think there's a real simple answer. They're simply a component of John Henry's sports conglomerate, of which he has, more than two entities. And I'm convinced the only thing that he cares about is turning a profit with the Red Sox, just like he wants to do with his other components. And there's no passion like there is with Bob Kraft, with Whit. So
Pat, I understand you're saying, although I will say that the Celtics and Bruins generally the Bruins have spent to the cap, and the Celtics are now spending well over it. But when I ask the question of what are the Red Sox, I understand what you're saying, that from a business standpoint, they're just another thing in John Henry's portfolio, which a lot of people feel that way. It's hard to argue that because, again, it doesn't feel like winning has become a real priority there. And certainly, it doesn't even feel like they want to extend themselves at all to be more competitive while they're rebuilding, which to me is the worrisome part. Or that they've just spent, and I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second, don't go anywhere. Or they have just spent less money than they want to because they're not interested in being that competitive. Or, frankly, they've just butchered it. They've butchered it. They've made so many bad decisions that they're not as competitive as they thought would be, or they thought they would be, which means the analytics haven't worked. Whatever it is that they've done, they haven't done it well, is the bottom line. But let me ask you this. Hold on. When I ask the question of what are the Red Sox, I really mean it more on the field. When you watch the team play, tell me, what do you think they are?
They're not high-spirited, that's for sure.
Okay. So this is my point is I don't think they're anything. I don't think they're anything. So they're a 4A outfit. Jared Carabas of Underdog Fantasy has used that term. So it basically puts them in some sort of class between minor league and big league. They're 4A. They're not effectively integrating this young dynamic talent at the big league level. Again, I would say, what young player do they have on the roster right now? Abreu might be the one. He just went on the injured list. But outside of Wilyer Abreu, whom people have mentioned in the discussion for Rookie of the Year, which I don't know if I necessarily buy. But outside of that, what guy do they have that you look at and say, ooh, there is a cornerstone for the long term? Now, you might say Tanner Houck. He's 27. He's been in the organization for 7 years. I think it's even longer than that, isn't it? I think it's 7 years that Houck has been in the organization. And I'm glad Houck has turned a corner. Houck is talented. He looks like he's figured it out. He could help them. For how long? Couple of years? Because then he's going to be eligible for arbitration starting this offseason, I think. Not that he's going to get any sort of big payday, but in his first year of arbitration anyway, are the Red Sox willing to give him a $100 million contract? Or do they just want to do what they did with Bayo and get him for $50 million, and that's a steal? Because I'm not sure Bayo's as good as Houck. And admittedly, I would have gotten that wrong. I thought Bayo was a better candidate to be good than Houck was. But we're sitting here talking. They're supposed to be able to evaluate them. They're supposed to be able to get it right. So when you say the word prospect, and you're talking about a 22, 23-year-old, maybe even younger, once you start getting a 25, I don't know how much of a prospect you really are anymore. So somewhere in that 22-year-old area, that's a prospect. That's a guy you look at and say, ooh, he could be good for a little while, and then when he hits his peak years, so you could get 8 to 10 years out of that guy before you lose him in free agency, which is what the Braves are doing with their prospects. The Red Sox, Jarren Durant's 27 now. Is it possible these quote-unquote prospects are only big league caliber players when they hit their peak years, and that when they're in the prospect age, they're so far behind the developmental curve that they're not ready to play in the big leagues yet, and the only time they really get there is when they hit their peak years, which means they have very short careers? Because I think I just described the Tampa Bay Rays. I think. This is my question. What are they? They want to build something sustainable. How? They're not going to get high draft picks the way the Orioles did when they tanked all those years, I don't think. And I don't feel like they've evaluated talent well enough to hit on these picks. Let's see. We'll be back with your calls to wrap it up on the Baseball Hour next. the Red Sox get ready to play the Atlanta Braves, mention to you Bobby Dahlbeck's in right field. Jimmy Stewart, do you know how Wilyer Abreu got hurt?
I don't.
Okay, this is another one. Again, I don't know how many fans know this. It's been reported out there now, and I meant to mention this because it happened at the end of the game on Sunday, which I was actually watching. Abreu came into the dugout, slipped on the dugout steps, rolled his ankle.
You're kidding me.
Sprained his ankle, on the injured list, now playing. One of the guys who, again, I said a second ago, when you ask about players that the Red Sox have put in the lineup, who have performed, who are young and promising, part of the future, a prospect, a legitimate, bona fide, big league prospect. Wilyer Abreu qualifies. He's 24 years old, played last season at 23, closing in on 25. But Abreu in his big league career with the Red Sox now has played 81 games, which is a half season. His OPS is 839. 8 home runs, 36 RBI. I'm not telling you he's lit the world on fire, but he takes his walks. He's got 20 doubles, with 40 double pace in 81 games. Pretty good. 16 home run pace, 72 RBI pace, if you go by the 81 games. Not bad. Not bad for a guy just breaking into the big leagues. Makes the occasional misplay in right field, but he can track a fly ball. He's a capable player. Frankly, he's a better Alex Verdugo, if you ask me. I think he's better than Verdugo because he cares. Verdugo might be more talented, but Abreu's better because he cares. Well, he rolled an ankle. He's out. Vaughn Grissom, who they got for Chris Sale, also back on the injured list with a pulled hamstring. That happened over the weekend. So Grissom, who they got in the deal, got hurt in the early part of spring training, came back, played about 3 weeks, missed some time in there because he got sick, and now has injured his hamstring again, back on the DL. That's a 6-week injury. You're not seeing him till August 1st. Second half of the season.
Nice evaluation, Breslow.
So now Grissom's out. So
You're
again,
starting to throw some nice change-ups from second base to first base, by the way.
So this whole idea, again, of integrating these young guys, and I let me make this clear. I am not mocking Alex Cora for that comment. I'm not. But this is what the Red Sox season has amounted to now. Can you integrate these young players and get them to be better so that whenever it is that the Red Sox are good or good enough, whenever they get to that point where they are going to be good again, are they going to then go out and spend the money? Do you believe in the plan and do you believe in them? How about do you just believe them? Let's say that these young guys can play. And maybe this is a discussion for tomorrow with Jared or later in the week. Let's say these young guys can play. Do you believe that the Red Sox are going to go out and put pieces around them and spend?
No.
See, right now, I think the organization's credibility is shot. I think it's completely non-existent. So how am I supposed to hold anyone but them responsible for that? When you lose your credibility, it's on you. It's on you. I don't think there's any way around that. Joe Murray is in tonight. Yes, Jimmy? It is Joe? Okay. Just making sure. Usually he, kind of strolls down the hall. I say, oh, there he is. He strolls down the hall, so I know he's coming in. Joe Murray's got you for the rest of the night. We'll catch you tomorrow.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, the road to Nevada 18. This is the flagship station of the Boston Celtics.
The Boston Celtics swarm the floor.
WBC-FM at 8.